As Kirsten said, my name's Matt. I just got out of college. I just finished in May, so graduated. And I'm self-employed. How many of you guys have heard of a stroke? A lot of people. So do you guys know what that is? Does everybody know what that is? Or what is it?
It's kind of like a heart attack, only it's just my grandma kind of had a stroke in a way because she wasn't eating a lot and she got very sick.
But does anybody know what causes a stroke or how to detect it when someone's having one?
It's like a blood clot that goes from your heart up to your brain, and then that's when a stroke happens.
Yeah, anytime there's an interruption, like because oxygen is in the blood and blood flows in the brain. Anytime there's an interruption in the blood vessels which carry the blood is going to a certain area, if there's an interruption in the traveling of that blood, then that's when you have a stroke. And you see a lot of different people that have different results of strokes. Different outcomes based on age, like how long the stroke happened for before they noticed it. There's probably 20 or probably 100 different things that affect how your outcome is going to be from your stroke. Has anyone ever heard, we're in school today still, right? You guys,
Yeah.
During our presentation, you're probably not like you're every day, like a lot of learning, so my point is to teach you a little bit today. So has anyone heard of FAST? Let's see if I can remember. It's face, arms, speech, and time. So that stands for FAST. So face, this is for recognition if someone's having a stroke. And I'll tell you a story real quick because there's and I don't know any personal stories, but I've heard stories. And if you see me while I'm up here, if you see me kind of curl my arm up, or if you notice I have pants on so you can't see that well, but my knee kind of shakes sometimes when I get nervous or when I'm in front of a group of people. So, there's a story I heard where some children or one child, they noticed someone was having a stroke and they called in 911 right away. And the person was able to get to the hospital really fast, because when you call 911 and you tell them that someone's having a stroke, or you think they are, then they know how time sensitive that is. So they're always putting a rush on things, but they try to go a little quick and have them be prepared for the right thing when they get you there and get you taken care of and all that. And people's outcomes, you may change a life because of that. And there's children that have saved, their mother, father, or grandparents just from being able to recognize this. So my goal is to help you guys better recognize those symptoms. So face, if you see someone and you're talking to them and you don't see them, you see one side of their face, one or the other, kind of droopy. Or maybe you ask them, hey, could you smile real quick? And they smile and only one side goes up. I can't do it anymore, but I can do it a little bit. But just that their face isn't the same on both sides. It's kind of like a symmetrical thing you want. You guys know what that word means?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't want to. I noticed you guys all had computers when I came in. That's pretty neat. I graduated with a computer science degree, so when I was your age, they didn't have that in the schools. So it's pretty neat to see. Second thing is your arms. You could ask them, raise your arms. If they can't raise both arms and hold them there, one of them kind of comes back down. Like when I first had my stroke, I couldn't do that. So I couldn't hold both arms up like that, and that's a sign also of having a stroke. Speech, if they mumble, or if their speech is slurred, do you know what that means? Does anybody know what go ahead.
I remember in band that you do separate notes, but except with slur is where you do no space bar.
So it's all run together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if they're talking to you and leaving out all the spaces, leaving out the time between words, if if all the words are running together, or the words just aren't coming out right. You can't understand what they're saying. Let's see if I missed something here. Yes, no smile. So and the last one is T is time, because it's time sensitive. You want to move as quickly as you can. If you notice that they're showing any of those symptoms, and I mean it's better to be overly cautious about this kind of thing. If you think someone's having a stroke, call 911. It's better to call them and then they get them in there and then they say, oh, they're not having a stroke, then they're not to. I have a couple statistics here I wanted to share, and these ones I might have to read from here. Approximately each year, 795,000 people suffer from a stroke. So on average, that's a stroke every 40 seconds in the United States. So it's a pretty big deal, and it happens to a lot of people, and almost everybody raised their hand. Nearly 3/4 of all strokes occur in people over the age of 65. So when you guys are around grandparents or something, you may just have the idea that fast, have that in the back of your mind, and remember to look for those signs. Okay, so on to my stroke, because I'm not over the age of 65. I had brain surgery. It was actually 2 different brain surgeries that I had, and the second one is when I had a stroke. And that was the result of this, the brain surgery that I was having was, I don't know if has anyone heard of the brain stem? That's where all the nerves run down to your spine. So that's where my tumor was, and they are removing it. And so that's like a real difficult area to operate in. And so the stroke was a result of that. Because again, anytime there's an interruption in the blood flow in any single blood vessel, that's when the stroke's caused. A hospital is the best place to be when you have a stroke, because then you're already there. So I was lucky in that way. As I've talked about it and you've seen, my biggest weakness to date is just my left-sided weakness, and let me brought it across today to show you guys, just because this is a touch of understanding is kind of new to me. But how many of you guys have one of these at home? Not just the same brand or anything, but one of these flip-flops. Some of you guys don't have flip-flops. Everyone should have a pair at home, right? Okay, so when you wear these, your toes hold them on. So in my left foot, if I put that on, I'll be walking, I'll take one step and it'll shoot like 10 feet. I can't hold it on my foot, flip-flops. So all of my like open shoes have something like a strap or something that goes around the back that holds the shoe on. And how many of you guys have bikes? So my bike has clips on the pedals, so it keeps my foot in there, so I don't lose my traction. Right? Okay, so like this is the side my brain surgery, my tumor was operated from. The first time I had surgery, they came in back here. See that scar? So the second time there's like a horseshoe kind of scar here, but you can't see it too much because my hair grows over it, and you have to kind of separate it to see it. But anytime with a stroke that the stroke happens on, say, the right side of your brain, the left side of your body is going to be affected. So that's why I have left-sided weakness. If it happens in your brain on the left side, the stroke, then your right side is going to be affected. And there may be cases where that's not the case, but that's like the majority right there. I tried to think of, because there were a lot of things that I used to do when I was younger that, like wakeboarding, stuff like snowboarding, wakeboarding that I used to do. Maybe kind of risky things. As you get older, you don't really want to do some of those things anyways. I was trying to think of things that I can't do now that I used to do, and there's very few. So, and I'm not saying that that's the case for everyone that's had a stroke. That's just my personal case. And a lot of times I have to. My wife tells me, you know, you can't do that yet. Don't say you can't do that or you won't be able to do something. Never really say that, because like for my whole life I'm going to be trying to work my way back up to doing things that I want, like setting goals, and I mean things you guys should have in the back of your mind. How many of you guys have goals that you want to achieve? Can I hear a couple? Going to Stanford? That's a good one.
That's mine. I'm really into fish, so I just want to be a marine biologist.
Fishing? You like to fish? Or you like just fish?
Yes.
A therapist.
My sister's a physical therapist. Do you know what type of therapist you want to be?
I want to be a physical therapist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a neat occupation because you get to help a lot of people.
My goal is Stanford. I want to learn.
Do you know what you want to study yet? You're only in 5th grade. You got a lot of time.
Work in a restaurant.
What's that?
Work in a restaurant.
I worked in a restaurant. That's a fun position. You get to be around a lot of people, depending on where you're at. There's a lot of different positions within restaurants, like management. You can manage employees. You can be a lot of different positions for employees that get to do different sorts of things. And it's fun. It kind of made me think back to when I had a couple of jobs at a restaurant.
I want to work at Nintendo.
Nintendo? Awesome. Making games?
My goal is to get to the college Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara? Are you a Giants fan? Just a little bit? Anyone else? Horse? I have 2 nieces, they both love horses. Right.
I want to become a waitress at my sister's restaurant. She said she's gonna when she goes home.
Awesome. Do you know what kind of food they're gonna have?
Oh, she said she's gonna have lots of different types of foods.
Awesome. Right.
Veterinarian.
Veterinarian? Awesome. Sorry, way up here and you're in the back, so what did you say?
I want to try to destroy Borderlands 2. Like the people who love it.
Oh, play video games? I was really into video games until I graduated high school. At that point, when I made the decision to work in the computer field, I had to drop the video games because it took up too much of my time. But when you're a kid, it's fun to play video games when you can. Or whenever you got the time, however old you are. I mean, I have played them when I've been older too.
Really? That's cool.
Any job where you can help people is very rewarding because you get to, it puts a smile on your face and makes you feel good that you're helping the life of someone else.
I want to be a math professor at Stanford.
At Stanford? Math, huh? That was my hardest subject. So let me tell you guys a quick story. And later on today you'll go into the empty room, like Kevin said, and you'll go around to different stations. when you get to the learning disability station, and it's like with the stroke, I had to like learn a lot of things like over again. So like I did have, and I still do, I have like a learning disability. And I had my stroke when I was 4 classes shy, or 6, of getting my degree at Sac State. And it took me a lot of time to get back into school, but when I did, I took 1 class at a time. And at Sac State, they have a program called SSWD, Students with Disabilities. And basically, you go in there and you tell them what your problems are and what you have difficulties with, and how they can help you. And for me, it was just more time on exams, and I had note takers in my classes because I couldn't write quick enough. And like if I wrote quick enough, all the notes that the teachers would say, none of the information would go in here because it'd all be on the paper. And then I wasn't big into like reading back through and rewriting the notes, like because I'd go to the teachers' offices and hear all the different things. And that's one thing that's really good to do too, is always go to the teacher's office because they're willing to help quite a bit. But the learning disability and the more time on the test was kind of because, like, say at the exam is 30 minutes or whatever in class, or some college classes are 50 minutes, and you have 50 minutes to do a math exam. And you know, I would get through that exam, part of it, and then people would finish up early and they'd be zipping up their backpack or putting their stuff away, open and shut the door over and over, you know. All these sounds for me at the time would set off this thing where they'd kind of reverberate and repeat themselves, and it was hard to concentrate on doing the math. And as soon as they have time and a half or double time, I had twice as long. So I had, instead of 50 minutes, I had an hour and 40 minutes, I think. And I could take my time in a room all by myself with no other distractions or anything. And that's what helped me finish up my college, those last 6 classes. And they weren't easy ones because I put the math off until the last. I had calculus 2, physics 2, linear algebra, just some really difficult classes that I waited till the very end for. No computer science classes at the end. So I mean, my one of my things is just why I asked you guys all, you know, some of you guys your goals is because, like, I want you to know that even though, say you have this goal and you feel like it's too far or you know you can't reach it in the time you want, it's not always going to be in the time you want. Just stick to it and keep coming back and follow your dreams and all your goals.
So Matt, do you watch your video?
Are we going till 10:30 or?
Yeah, we are.
It's like 6 minutes, so.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking that if we still have time, we can show my video. We have a bike painting.
Yeah, we can start it. So my video, there's pictures, and those are before my stroke. Some of them are after my first brain surgery. Then there's video of me in the rehab facility, and then there's pictures of me after the stroke. So, and then if you see any quick questions you want to ask about the pictures, go ahead and ask me when the video's done.
Someday wish upon a star. Wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like lemon drops. High above the chimney top, that's where you find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dream that you did to go wide. Oh, why can't I? Well, I see trees of green and red roses too. I'll watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue and I see clouds of white.
Going home today.
Yeah,
Any fast?
yeah.
Oh, it's time to take a shower, huh? How's that itchy hair?
All right.
Looks like you're all one color today. You're all blue. Can you wiggle your toes on this side? Your left side? Can you wiggle them yet? No? But you can move them a little bit? Let me see your arm. Move your arm. Wow. Can you reach for the ceiling? Stop. Going home today, how do you feel?
Good.
You ready to go to class? Let's look at our room. Almost cleaned up. Get all the pictures off of the board behind you. Alright, you ready? I'm gonna follow you.
He's all done with this. I put a seatbelt, I put this first.
Getting ready to go to class. How do you feel?
Good.
Good. Alright, you ready?
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try.
couple. Go ahead. I don't think have I called on you? Anyone that I haven't called on already, put your hands down. So if I haven't called on, go ahead. Yeah.
Where were you at when you were sitting down with your... Where were you when you were sitting down?
With the
That's
water
in my memory, huh?
With the water splashing behind him, kind of thing.
It's like there was an orange everywhere, but... I forgot. Was it...
Go ahead. You had your hand up.
What I saw after your operation was how slowly you picked the styrofoam up with your hand and put it in the bucket, and the gal kept making you do that, so it's remarkable how far you've come. Was it with the help of your friends that...
Yeah, friends and family have
Friends and
supported
family?
me in a major way. Like, if it weren't for my friends and family, and since I've had the stroke, I've met so many more new friends, and it's just amazing, like, to see other people that have gone through what I've gone through with the stroke. And
It's a great story, and I'm so glad to see you doing well. And you said your wife would encourage you to keep at it, that you couldn't do it right away. You were standing right under a sign that I know the kids know about. It says "Get," and that's kind of a mantra here
Yeah.
at school.
I have that underlined a bunch of times.
We try to tell the kids, you may not get it today, but you'll get it eventually.
Yeah.
Trying, right?
Yeah.
So how do you get it? Go ahead.
Why did it affect your right side?
The tumor is on my brainstem, and they went into it from this side, and that's the side I had the stroke on, so it affected this side.
But why did it?
Oh, I'm not a doctor, so does anyone know?
You have
Do you
to
guys-
take biological
Yeah,
psychology.
yeah, it's just the way the body
Learn
works.
that one.
Whenever someone has a stroke on one side, it always affects the opposite side. Go ahead.
How long did you stay in hospital?
The hospital you saw there was a rehab facility where they do like 3 types of therapy: occupational, speech, and physical therapy. Like all day, you stay there. It's called inpatient. That was in Vallejo. Did you say how long was I there? That was like a month. And before that, before I could go to that one, I had to get off of a feeding tube, and that was in Redwood City. I was on a feeding tube for 2 weeks.
There was a picture where you guys were standing. There was a picture of a boat with tons of people on the boat.
Oh, that one at the end? That was for my 5th anniversary. My wife and I went to New York, and that was a 45-person speedboat. It was pretty cool. It went out by the Statue of Liberty and like did some donuts, and it was really neat. They had like rock and roll music, and then they came back in. But the first time we went to do it, the boat broke down. It was kind of a different experience. Put up and I called on you today.
So there's 2 things I want to say. My mom's a physical therapist too, and there's also 3 types of strokes. There's a hunger stroke, a minimal stroke, and I forgot the third.
Heat stroke?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Good job.
What do you have?
A hunger stroke, what was the middle one?
A regular.
I had just a regular one. Go ahead. Do you still have a question? You announce it? Okay. It was during my surgery, so I was under anesthesia where you're not awake. All right. Okay, so I'll just go fast today. Do you guys know, anyone know what a stroke is? Anyone know someone's had a stroke? Who knows what a stroke is and they want to explain it best they can? Go ahead.
It's like something like when you get older, like you get like a stroke. It's like something that will like stop you from breathing, and you like lose your thinking, or you could lose your hearing or something.
Like 3/4 of people over the age of 65 have strokes, so that leaves 1/4, under the age of 65 that also have strokes, and I'm one of them. So, does anybody know what causes a stroke or what symptoms to look for in somebody that may be having a stroke? We got somebody else. Go ahead in the back.
Dehydration.
Huh?
Dehydration.
Dehydration. There's a few different types of stroke, like heat strokes. Someone brought them up in the last class. That's the only reason I'm thinking of it right now. But what were the other ones? Like just a brain stroke and a hunger stroke. I haven't heard that one before, but I'm sure it's possible. Got to keep nutrition in your body. Eat your veggies. So here today to teach you guys a little something. So fast is the main thing you want to remember for a stroke. It's face, arms, speech, and time. So face. Since 3/4 of people that have strokes are over the age of 65, maybe your grandparents. Does that sound about right? So if you're sitting there talking with your grandparents and you notice one side of their face, just one or the other, drooping down, that could be a symptom of a stroke. And you could go, hey, like, can you smile for me? And like, if they smile and just one side goes up and the other one won't go up, then you might know that they're having a stroke. Another one, the arms. So the second for fast, F-A-S-T, is arms. So if you tell them to hold their arms up and they can't do that for a little while, if one arm, goes down before the other, then that's another symptom. And then speech, like if their speech is slurred, or like they run their words together, or you can't understand what they're saying, and they're not speaking clearly, that might be a sign. The last one's time. So any of those symptoms happen, then you want to be very fast to call 911, and the first thing you want to tell them is that you think somebody's having a stroke, because they can take preparation for that and take care of their needs. So that's, hold on a second, I'll refer to this real quick. Over 3/4 is over 65, I'm under, so I'll talk now about my stroke real quick. Mine happened while I was in the hospital, so it's not like one of my friends noticed any of those symptoms in me, but I had a tumor and I had brain surgery, and while they were in there, it's in a very difficult location, and the stroke was the result of that location where the tumor was. It was very difficult to operate in that area. So from that point on, it was kind of like right here, carry on. You do the best you can with what you've been given. You still have goals in life and everything that you have to continue to pursue. And a few of mine were getting, even before the stroke, were getting my college degree, and some of the things that after my stroke, that just because having my stroke led me to bond with my wife and family more, and I met new friends that I wouldn't have met otherwise. And I'm going to play a video just so I can leave time at the end for any questions. If you watch the video and you see like some pictures that you want to ask questions about, or any other questions you might have for me. I'm going to look real quick and see if I forgot something important here. One of my biggest hobbies is riding my bike. You guys all know the gear shifters on bikes. So my stroke happened on the right side, so my left side is affected. Did you guys know that? If it happens on one side, the other side's affected? Okay, so I had problems shifting gears. I could do it, but it took a lot longer, and if I know I'm stopping 100 yards up the road, I can get my hand up there and stop. But it's just the gears, at least, was easier. My friends unhooked it and put it underneath the right side, and so all my gears are on one side of my bike. And like I brought a prop, but anyone have a pair of flip-flops at home? If I put flip-flops on and walk around at the gym, my foot, first step I try to take with it, I'll kick it like 10 feet or something, because my toes won't curl down and hold the shoe on as I walk. So also back to the goals real quick. Does anyone have, you guys all have goals, right? How many people have goals in here? So, and how many people are willing to do whatever it takes to reach those goals? So I think we don't need to talk anymore about that. You guys can hold your own there. So before the video is when I was in the hospital. Before the video is before my stroke. and the pictures after the video is after my stroke.
Probably can't wait to take a shower, huh? How's that itchy hair?
Alright.
Looks like you're all one color today, you know, blue. Can you wiggle your toes on this side? Your left side? Can you wiggle them yet? No? But you can move them a little bit? Let me see your arm. And your arm. Wow. Can you reach for the ceiling? Stop. Go home today, how do you feel?
Good.
Just look at her room. Almost cleaned up. Get all the pictures off of the board behind you. Alright, you ready? I'm gonna follow you.
I don't know what more pictures to give you. Okay, he's all done with this. I put his seatbelt, I put his Christmas.
Getting ready to go to class. How do you feel?
Good.
Good. Alright, you ready?
Yeah.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. Don't
So the other class didn't get a chance to do the activities first, but did you guys see on the bars how I had 2 different shoes? So I was wearing one of those braces. I don't know if you guys went to remember the brace table? Those foot ones, they help you walk with walking. I was wearing one of those. So I'll take any questions. Go ahead. Really? That's cool. I guess, kinda. Sometimes I look at it as a blessing because I've met so many neat people and it's really bonded my wife and I and stuff. So.
I saw in one of the pictures that you had a lizard.
Did I have what?
A lizard.
A lizard? Yeah, his name was Smokey.
Oh, do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have one sister. She's a physical therapist. The second picture on there with me and her, that was the only one of her on there. So, but she's helped me in a lot of my post-stroke stuff, like, you know, with the therapy and stuff.
Was she a therapist before
Yeah.
stroke? Wow, wow.
She's a therapist at
That's
Kaiser.
how life works.
Oh, my dad's been my
Oh, wait, your dad? Oh, wow. Not yet. Working on it. We're gonna do soon.
Obviously, from seeing you in the video, you've made huge progress. Is that typical of somebody?
That's that first thing I taught you guys. Who remembers what I taught you guys? The 4-letter word. You guys should all raise your hand. Just fast. Like the fastest you can respond. Like the reason my recovery is so good is because I was already in the hospital having brain surgery. So all they had to do is take me down to the MRI machine, which is kind of like an X-ray, but it uses magnets and it gives an image of the inside of your brain, and they could see that when they cut it, it started bleeding, so they knew something, but it gave them more information, went back up, and they cauterized the blood vessel. They might have cauterized it first and then set me down and checked to see if it was still bleeding, but yeah. There's so many factors, like age is a big one of them, and if you remember that number, I think it's 3/4 over the age of 65 have strokes, so, and it's harder to recover when you're older because I've heard a lot of it has to do with the physical shape you're in before it happens, and lots of things. Go ahead.
My mom says that my uncle had a stroke before he was born.
Yeah, babies have them. Yeah, right. What?
Where were you in that picture with the dinosaurs? Like
The dinosaurs. There's a museum in New York. Have you seen Night at the Museum?
Oh, yeah.
That museum is that museum.
Oh.
And I went with my wife to New York for my 5th anniversary, so that was really fun. Except for it was in August. Don't ever go to New York in August.
Matt, I know one of the things you shared in the first presentation was that before your stroke you were almost done with college, and then you went back and persevered and finished your degree.
Yeah.
Can you talk to the kids a little bit about sticking
sure.
with it?
Yeah, I had 6 classes to go before my bachelor's in computer science, and the core classes for the computer science, I mean, I had no problems with those. It was the math and the physics and that kind of stuff that I stumbled with, so I saved it. I put it all off till the end. So my last 6 classes were, don't do this. I'm not a good example. Calculus 2, Physics 2, linear algebra, statistics, calculus-based statistics, just stuff like that. That was my very last one. So I put it all on.
Might say that.
Yeah, so, I mean, and I like, when I was putting those off before I even had the stroke, I was worried that I wouldn't get through those classes, but, I mean, once I had the stroke, I still had that drive, and, I mean, you just have to stick with your goals and always carry on, like, push towards them and make sure you achieve them, you know. It's like, it wasn't easy for me, and it's not easy for a lot of people that even don't have disabilities, but for myself, at Sac State, they have a program there where you can go and get evaluated, and they help you out. You guys have already seen the booth, the learning disability booth. Like I worked with that at Sac State, because people would finish their exams in a 50-minute class. They'd finish their exams early and start zipping their backpacks up or being real loud. And I mean, you guys can take that if you remember, like in 10 years or whatever, to not do that. It's helpful not to, for other students to be kind of quiet. And you guys do a really good job at that. I was really impressed when I walked in the door here and you guys were singing. So one of the things that they did for me, or two of them, they had a note taker which came to class with me and they took notes, the teacher, because I couldn't write and listen at the same time. And another thing was more time for the exam, so I could, in an individual room, so I wouldn't be interrupted with sounds and stuff, and I could just concentrate on my exam. And I took one class this semester for this last 6, and I just graduated in May, so, I mean, and that felt really good. Go ahead.
You travel to a lot of places?
What's that?
You travel to a lot of places?
Yeah, the only places out of the country I've been is Mexico. My wife and I on our honeymoon went to the Caribbean. I've been to Canada, but I don't remember because I was too young. But I've traveled a lot, like in the United States, like just to see family and friends. They went to like Mississippi and stuff like that. Right.
Have you ever traveled to Hawaii?
I've been to Hawaii. My grandma used to own a condominium on Molokai. I've been there like 3 times. I was pretty blessed as a child because she would always give our family her sky miles when we go over there and stay in her place. And it was on a golf course, and I'd collect golf balls. And one year, I came back through. This is before all the security stuff at the airport, but I had a luggage bag with 300 golf balls in it. They went through their scanner, and they were like, "Whoa, what is that?"
Well, guys, did you enjoy the presentations today?
Yeah.